Bismillah, salatu wassalam, Rasulullah, about an invalid peace and blessing of Allah be upon his last and final messenger, family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes. Welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace, love, no hatred of 100. Salaam Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a hell of haters up in here. And family, let me tell you, when it rains, it pours, baby. Woo! When it rains, it pours, family. Man, whatchamacallit? We like Donald Trump, but with actual proof, okay? Without all the embellishment, you know? We're getting tired of winning. You're going to get so tired of winning. You're going to win so much, you're going to be like, I can't help all this winning. Family, oh my gosh, man. This is too crazy, y'all. I came across this white sociologist. He happens to be a convert to Islam. I don't know much about him. Okay, I'm just going to keep it a buck, okay? I do not know much about him, but what I do know is that he said exactly what we said. We said, remember y'all when I was telling you about my time there in Saudi Arabia? So my day ones, they might know, right? Press number 1 in the chat if y'all can hear it, by the way. Okay, if the sound is good. Number 1 in the chat, right? But anyways, y'all might remember I was mentioning about my time in Saudi, and we said that there's a caste system there. Okay, there's a caste system in Saudi. Okay. And on the bottom of this caste system, you have like the Bengalis and the Sri Lankans and whatnot, followed by the Africans. Okay. And then from there, you have like your Arabs or whatnot, you know, like not so the Khaliji Arabs, like I'm talking about like Jordanians and Lebanese and Syrians, these type of folk, right? Arabs from outside, Egyptians, those type of folks, right? Then from there, you know, you have your Khaliji Arabs and then your Saudis, whatnot. Okay. And for after that, you have Allah, and then you have white people. Okay. That's what we said. That's the caste system in Saudi. Okay, that's how it worked. Okay, I lived there for 9 years. Okay. Well, anyways, this white sociologist, he broke down a caste system for converts. And he's essentially saying exactly the same thing that, you know, we've been talking about for donkey years. And I do mean donkey years on this channel. Okay? Like a long time. Okay? So anyways, we are going to get into this video, and we're going to give our own commentary on it. So like, subscribe, share me up on Patreon. Let me just get this link up the video, y'all. 1 second, family. Oh, this is going to be so good. 1 second. 1 second, y'all. So this is the guy. Okay. This is the brother. What's his name? His name is, hold on. Let me try to find his name here. 1 second, y'all. Let me try to find his name. Dr. It's like some sort of Italian name, I believe. 1 second. What in the world? Did I put the wrong video in here? I think I did. I don't know how that happened. 1 second, y'all. Okay, so let's just watch the video. We'll get his name afterwards. Actually, you know what? Let me do it like this. 1 second. I'll do it like this. His name is Dr. William Barlow. Okay, that's even way faster. His name is Dr. William Barlow. He's a sociologist in Britain. Okay, and now he this white man, this white a convert who is not part of the Black Muslim grassroots, who ain't got nothing to do with us. He is going to break down, this educated white man. He's going to break down the caste system based upon the UK experience. Okay, so let's get into it. Like, subscribe, share me on Patreon, family.
If you're new to Islam in the UK, you've probably noticed that there is a hierarchy among converts to Islam. You've probably noticed that how on social media, you've got some converts, when they release their Shahada video, which gets hundreds of thousands of views, and 1 week after, they get all of a sudden sponsored trips to Turkey, to Egypt, to Saudi, to Pakistan. They get all expense paid Umrah. They get featured on every single Muslimic YouTube channel and podcast. And you have some other converts who...
Musa Sarantino. We did a whole video about Musa. I think we did a couple of them actually about Musa Sarantino, or I can't remember, can't pronounce his name, but you can check it out. Musa Sarantino, right? Becomes Muslim one day. Next thing you know, he's on Peace TV and stuff. Andrew Tate, Sneeko, like these folks. Anyways, let's keep watching, y'all.
Just spend their whole Ramadan alone. They go to the mosque for iftar, and they're just left alone in the corner. No one wants to speak to them. Some of them get abused by other Muslims at the mosque, and some others even get kicked out of the mosque just because they're not the right type of convert. Hello and welcome. I'm William. I am a sociologist at the University of Warwick in the UK. It's been now 15 years that I've been working on Muslim issues in Europe and North America. It's also been 15 years that I'm a Muslim myself. So I talk from a place of love and care for the community. And I will also argue that we've seen a video where I talk about how the British Muslim society is divided into castes. So now I want to go further and explore the stratification of society when it comes to converts to Islam. And again, I want to argue, this is my theory, that it is not a Muslim or Islamic problem itself, definitely not Islamic, but it is more of a British problem, how the British society...
It's not just British, brother. It's not just the British, brother. It's the same issue in Canada. It's the same issue in the US. You know, it's the same, like pretty much any Western country where you find Muslim immigrants, you're going to have this problem, because the Muslim immigrants, they bring their racism with them. So they already have racism embedded in their culture. And when they migrate out of their countries, after colonizers bomb and deplete their countries, they come to the colonized countries, they bring that with them. You get me? And the most egregious case just happens to be in the United States. That's the most egregious case, because the indigenous Black population have the longest history of Islam in the US. And not only that, they are the fastest among the convert community. They're the biggest, largest, and fastest amongst the convert community. And still you find YouTubian elites promoting white supremacists in the US and stuff, and in Canada. You get me? So this is a phenomenon anywhere where you find Muslim immigrants. You know, and the Prophet ﷺ, he explicitly spoke about this. He said that his people will not be able to leave the times, like the times of Jahiliyyah, meaning racism. We talk about racism until the day of judgment. This will not leave his ummah. Prophet ﷺ, he said this. So they are not even willing to deal with these issues because it's so deeply ingrained with them. You know what I mean? Which is why you have folks like us, right? So that we owe like I got to give this particular person, this brother, some props for actually tackling this issue, because he is a sociologist. At the end of the day, he's educated. Like I said, I don't know much about him. I don't know what his akida is, what his minhaj is, but at the end of the day, he's a sociologist. He's educated. So he's not talking from a place of innuendo or, he's talking from a place from actual science. So let's keep watching, y'all. Let's keep going, getting into it.
Itself is stratified according to socio-economic and ethnic lines. Sadly, because people don't have access to education that much, all of this stratification has transpired into Muslim communities and other minorities as well. I'm from France and I've never been accepted in the British Ummah. That's why, I don't work with British Muslims anymore. As I mentioned in many previous videos, because people don't even believe I'm Muslim because my parents are Polish. None in France. France was really, really good. But here in the UK, I've been rejected many times from jobs at Muslim charities, for marriage, because despite me having a PhD, people said things along the line that, you're one of these dirty immigrants who build a dodgy driveway and run away with the money. So yeah, I learned the hard way that British Muslims are a very stratified society. But you think I got it really bad, but some people I've met got it really, really worse. You go and talk, for example.
You see what he said, y'all? You see what he said, y'all? We've been saying this for how long now, man? How long have we been saying this? And at least he was honest enough to admit that. Because despite the issues that he's having as a white convert from France, he knows there's folks that got it way, 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 way worse. Let's keep watching, yo.
With black reverts to Islam in the UK, especially black women, some of the most talented artists and community organizers. They may have thousands and thousands of followers on social media, and they might be extremely talented at what they're doing, but yet you barely see them on any Muslimic YouTube channel or podcast. Then you've got South Asian converts to Islam. So people who grew up in a Hindu or Sikh family and decide to embrace Islam. So contrary to black Muslim reverts to Islam, they don't get hate from other Muslims that much, but they get completely ignored because people assume they're South Asian, they already have a very huge support network. But that's completely wrong. And you probably know the dynamic.
Remember we were talking about how certain Muslims, particularly South Asians and Arabs, they believe that Islam is a kind of birthright. So they come over here and they instantly try to run everything. They try to run, what's going on in dawah, what's going on in scholarship, what's going on in literature. Like in English, just a real funny, weird phenomenon that's going on with the Quran right now in the English language. Okay. It is so weird. And I don't know why this is happening, but I do believe it has something to do with this very thing that he's talking about. Folks that coming out here from the east to the west, and they believe because they are Pakistani or whatnot, that they have a sort of birthright to dictate what goes on with the wider ummah, especially when it comes to Pakistani Hanafis and Jamaat Tabligh and these type of people, right? Very, very aggressive. So anyway, the thing that's going on with the Quran here, right, in the English language anyways, is that it seems like every single year, every single couple of months, there's a new translation of the Quran. Like, why do we in the English language need 15, 16, 17, like 20 translations of the Quran? Every single year, somebody translating the Quran. And furthermore, they're putting out the Qurans for dawah tables and whatnot, and then they got no Arabic in it. So you're giving people a translation of the Quran, and for actual converts, like converts, like we know what we're talking about, seeing the Arabic has a spiritual significance when you're handing somebody in an English language or any language for that matter, the Quran, right? Because now they understand that they have the real version, which they can aspire to learn and to read, and they have the translation. When you hand over just a strictly English translation of the Quran to the person you're handing it to, in their mind, they're thinking this book is something like the Bible. They don't make any distinction between this book and the Bible. You get it? And I only seen this in the English language. And I know it's because of some folks from some other country somewhere that always feel they can translate the Quran, but you don't need like 20 different translations of the Quran. To me, the Noble Quran is good enough. That's good enough. I know some brothers, they like the Yusuf Ali translation, but to me, that translation, it's really old English. It's a difficult read. Noble Quran for me is probably the best translation. And on top of it, you get the Arabic and the English. And on top of that, you're getting whatchamacallit, Tafsir, Ibn Kathir, and all kind of stuff. You get me? But it goes back to what he was saying about the South Asian converts. Because they're South Asian, people automatically assume, simply because they're South Asianists, that they are Muslim and whatnot, and they have all their stuff taken care of. Do you get me? And that's just not the case. Right? I know 2 Hindu converts and 1 Sikh convert into Islam. And they're always with the converts. They're never with the South Asians. Like, never. They're always with the converts. And I mean always. You get me? Let's keep watching, y'all.
Dynamics in South Asian families. If you are in a Sikh family or if you're a Hindu family and one of the kids embrace Islam, how are they going to be treated by the family? And these reverts probably have had the worst experience ever with their families. I've met some previously Hindu and Sikh reverts to Islam who got disowned by the families, ignored by the families, who got physically abused, who got prohibited from attending their own parents' funerals. I've met people who have like murder attempts on them because they embraced Islam. Then you have the white British working.
There's a sheikh. He's actually an alim, right? He died maybe I want to say about 10 years ago, right? He was a Hindu convert from Islam. Old man, right? He converted to Islam when he was young. I think he converted like in his 20s or something like that. He ended up moving from India to Mecca. Okay, I can't remember his name. Maybe if y'all know his name, you can put it in the chat, right? But anyways, he ended up becoming a muhaddith. Okay, this guy, right? And he was telling his story about when he converted to Islam. People trying to kill him, his family trying to kill him. He's running for all this kind of craziness. So he fled from India to Mecca, right? For us here, especially black converts, nowhere for us to flee. If you convert, if you're black in the West, you can't flee nowhere. You're kind of stuck here. You know what I mean? So when people are talking about hijrah, there's a group of us that say, well, where are we going to make hijrah to? This is where from this, we got to stay here. And it's either dawah or die, right? It's fight or flight. We can't go nowhere. You understand? So our experience is something that really we need to take the reins of, especially as black converts and the convert community in general. You know what I mean? And the convert, we need to take a bit more control of what's going on with us, because we are Westerner and we understand better than anybody else what's going on here. You know, and to have, you know, a whole bunch of foreigners coming here and they're trying to control the Dow and just making it exponentially worse, like so much worse, right? That shouldn't be happening. But because they're organized and they have like long community networks and whatnot. The way I see the South Asian community, especially, right? They're very, very attached to YouTube personalities, and he's going to mention that here. Actually, he's going to mention it in this video. They're very attached to YouTube personalities, and they can't stop. They can't help themselves. Everything that they do when it comes to dawah has to be connected to YouTube and social media personalities. But let's keep watching,
Working class converts. So people who are born in Britain from English, Welsh, Scottish families who know roughly how to navigate the British society. Born Muslims would open a few doors for them because they know how to navigate the society. And they actually get involved in many aspects of their local communities, but still they will be kept in the background. They will still encounter problems finding jobs among the Muslim charity sector or else, and they will get trouble getting married because, well, they're not South Asian. They just don't have properties, they don't have networks, they don't have wealth. Some people would accuse these.
That might be like a British type thing, because over here, in Canada and in America, white converts have no issues whatsoever, like zero. As a matter of fact, they get the poo-tang thrown at them. If a white woman converted today, it don't matter what she looked like, she'll have 10,000 marriage proposals by tomorrow. It don't matter what she looked like. Okay, so that might be something that's going on in the UK. That I can say that this is different from what's happening here. Right? I don't know why it's different, but that is absolutely not the case here. 100% not the case here. Okay, let's keep watching him.
White reverts for working for the police or the intelligence services. They're just not the right kind of British converts. At the same level, I would say they are now the European converts to Islam who embraced Islam and moved to Britain, or moved to Britain and embraced Islam. They may encounter similar experiences, but they may have a little bit more challenges because, not being a native English speaker and not being born in this country, they may not share the same cultural references, social clues, and they may have a harder time navigating the British system overall. And if, like me, you come from the continent, many people will find you rude because they think you're too direct. Well, we Europeans, we just, usually just say what we think. We don't beat around the bush like the British. And then there are the elite converts who can boast a certain level of wealth, who own properties, who have huge networks, connections in politics, in the media, or converts who went to private school, to Oxford, to Cambridge, or...
So Brother Bilal, he had a comment here. He says, I think he's speaking about the men. The white female converts are sought after here too. Okay, so over here, it's both men and women. They don't really have much issues getting married at all. As long as the man got his stuff together, as long as it's not like a cracky or something like that, you have no problems getting married at all. They'll be throwing the poo-tang at them. Okay. They'd be volunteering themselves for some white genetic annihilation. Okay. That's how it is over here. Let's keep watching, yo.
Insta converts who became famous only thanks to social media. So you will see these people featured on so many Muslimic YouTube channels and podcasts because either, in one case, born Muslims would see them as a symbol, like a providential saviors, a symbol of a bridge between, let's say, Muslims and Britain, Muslims and the far right, and so on and so on. They will see them very pragmatically from a utilitarian perspective because they may have connections in politics, they may have connections in the media, they may have access to huge amounts of wealth, and wealth means maybe funding for your mosque or your charity. And then the second category is what I call the professional converts. People who literally make a career make money out of their shahada. So many of them are models, they're actors, influencers working with marketing agencies. So
Andrew Tate, Sneeko. Look at here. Nuri says, I only know one single white Muslim, male or female, and his singleton is by choice. I'm just saying. That's how it is over here. You know, and even I would even go even further. Like, let's say the convert is a cracky and he's white, he would still be able to get married. He won't have. I mean, he might have a little bit of obstacles because not every family is willing to give up their daughter to a cracky and stuff. But he can go into, you know, the hood or whatever and find one of these single moms or whatever, you know, and get married. No problem. I don't know any white converts have any issues getting married. But that might not be the case so much with this generation coming up now. Because this generation coming up now, I have to admit they're different. The ones that are in their 20s and, you know, 20s and under, they're very, very different. This generation coming up has a huge aversion to marriage. And it's something that we never seen before, we never witnessed before, right? Those folks that like the younger Muslims that are coming up now, and I believe a lot of this has to do the same type of things with social media, the red pill, all that kind of stuff, you know, and whatchamacallit, how feminism and masculine is being portrayed to the wider community, and they're absorbing all of this stuff. So they just don't want to get married. You know, it's like an entire generation that's avoiding marriage. And it's something that's very, very new within the last, I would say last maybe 5 to 7 or 8 years, right? You're starting to see these type of people. You get me? So anyways, let's keep watching, yo.
Their accounts on social media, you know, you will see them traveling all across the world in Islamic countries, all expenses paid. And you will see, you know, if you go on the About section on YouTube or whatever, their email address is often the one of a talent management agency. And they are very easy to spot because often on their social media, they will put links to selling their merchandise, you know, sweaters, or, you know, they would charge their one-to-one session £250 an hour, or they would advertise their online course. You know, 1 week after their shahada, they would like put up an online course, how to be the perfect revert Muslim, and like, yeah, £900. It's very hard to.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that going on. There's a bunch of that going on. There's one, I can't, it's like Dow was something, I can't remember what it was. Dudes converted yesterday and started selling online courses for Muslims and stuff like that, man. You get me? But that's a real thing. Let's keep watching, you.
Mistake, because you will see that they will commodify as much as they can their position, their identity of being new to Islam, and to make money or to gather followers. So you will see them traveling across the world, but paradoxically, you will very rarely see them interact with their local mosque, their local Muslim community, or Muslims who are just not rich, powerful or famous. So this is a very self-interested venture. And again, I'm not excusing them, but we need to understand that from the moment when your social media presence is a marketing or business endeavor, you have to be self-centered. Of course, you know, there is always exceptions, but you know, they're very, very rare. And you may also, you know, non-judgmental places in the UK are very rare. I think.
Yeah, in my humble opinion, this type of stuff that's going online with these online converts, that's incredibly dangerous to the dawah and very, very harmful to the dawah. And we already seen how much harm it could cause. Andrew Tate, Sneeko. We're already seen it. What's we call it? Musa Sharantonio. Well, he's not an online guy, but you know what I mean? Like, he became Muslim one day and the next day he was on Peace TV giving lectures and stuff. You get me? That's the kind of craziness going on here with this type of stuff, right? You know, and in my opinion, 90% of the online dawah channels we could do away with immediately. because they are so harmful. You know, there's like one, like not, I'm going to say one, just a couple of channels. I say, okay, these channels are good, and they're not necessarily Dawah channels either, but they're like Islamic channels. You know, like yeah, exactly. Like Lily J. Lily J. She can fit in this. She's not even Muslim. She's not even Muslim, but she can fit in this convert hierarchy because she gets treated like a convert. Why? Because she's a white woman, she's a pretty white woman who goes on whatchamacallit. What's that the thing? Chat GPT and stuff. You get me? That's all she needs. It's a hustle, it's a gimmick. And you know, South Asian men and Arab men eat that crap up. If you put like a steak in front of a hungry lion, they're gonna eat it up. Well, if you put a white woman in front of these thirsty dudes, so thirsty, man, they can't control themselves, man. I don't understand why Lily J's little, hey, chat GPT, what do you say about Islam? I end up on my Facebook feed 18,000 times. Like, why? Why? Like, even I can't even imagine myself watching something like that for any reason at all. Let alone, I can't imagine myself, a self-respecting Muslim, asking chat GPT about Islam. I can't imagine myself doing it. But Muslims are making folks like this rich. And then they wonder why they have problems in the Ummah in general, with Dawah, with their kids. Because look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Like y'all ain't serious people, family. Like, holy man. Just keep watching, yo.
After 10 years of presence here and studying up and down the country, I've only listed, Rumi's Cave in London and Cambridge in general. It's really unfair, but humans are humans at the end of the day. People prefer running after fame, money, and power rather than uniting around meaningful causes, supporting each other. But in the age of social media, doing good is boring. So if you're new to Islam, be very careful and be aware of.
I really like that quote that he said, right? In the age of social media, doing good is boring. You know what I mean? In other words, you got to be like a real like dubious person to make it into social media. Really dubious. You can't be principled. And your YouTubian elites have zero principles, like zero. You see YouTubian elites, you need to run, man. Just run when you see them, man. They will ruin your entire religion, man. They'll have you believe in Christ as king. Okay? They'll have you believing that somebody can say, I am your Lord, your God, worship me, and he can still be Muslim. They'll have you believing that, you could be Muslim and a white supremacist at the same time. Yeah, we believe in all of that stuff.
The way you'll be received by the wider community, the challenges you may experience. I talk about this in many of my videos, but do not expect to find a community. You have, sadly, to build your own, except if you are very...
Ain't that what we say all the time over here? It ain't that what we say all the time over here. And I do believe that some of these generational Muslims, they're about to be replaced because they are doing some crazy, funny things. Their allegiance to Zadie is not only is it treacherous, but it's outright demonic. They're practicing something that has nothing to do with Islam, and they're calling it Islam. You know what I mean? Let's finish this out, and then I'm gonna let me put the link in the chat if anyone wants to hop on. 1 second, y'all. Let me put the link in the chat. Right, and then we'll finish this out. It's not much longer.
Lucky enough to be in a pocket where you have very nice and supportive people around you, but otherwise it is a very lonely and difficult experience. If you want to contact me for support, feel free to do so. I do not charge for my advice and support. I charge companies because this is my job, but no, not individuals who are struggling. I don't think it's very ethical. But again,
like Asim Al Hakim, shots fired. Asim Al Hakim.
You're weird.
One more again. Asim Al Hakim.
So,
Asim Al Hakim. Let me tell y'all something about Asim Al Hakim. He charges $220 per hour for you to talk to him. And that dude is a narcissist running around masquerading like he's a sheikh or something. Like, yes, that Asim, that sheikh. If you're thinking, yes, that one. $220 to give you some advice that will never help you anyways. And then not just him. So many of these guys, man. What's that Italian woman? Gabriel Romani, another one. Who's the other woman? The one who's always dressing up in tight stuff with his wives and all kind of stuff. These guys are some serious con men, man, and they're using their social media platforms to get rich off a con. And I mean rich. I like this one. You're about to have iftar. You damn right. I'm about to eat, fool. You're damn right, man. I'm about to eat these dudes up, man. What's that dude, man? That Arab guy, man. These guys, to get some that pimping ain't easy. Anything goes when it comes to hoes because pimping ain't easy. That's what they doing, man. Con artist, man. And this guy, he doesn't even charge. And he's an actual sociologist. We have folks in the back that can actually help you if you have having some issues in your life. Like the therapist, Renee Michelle, for example. She's qualified to do stuff like that. She's a therapist. These two, their qualifications, they got big YouTube platforms. That's their qualifications. $220 for 1 hour. Man, Necro, please. You man. Man, don't make me swear here in Ramadan, man. I think he's finished now. But let me just do this now. Let me just get rid of this. He's pretty much done. But I would add to his list of the convert hierarchy, because he said pretty much everything that we've been saying. All right. The only thing that he left out, and probably rightfully so, is two types of people. Okay. The first one is white folks in general who talk good about Islam. If they're white and they talk good about Islam, they will get their, and then they have popular social media followings, they will be treated as converts, even though they're not converts. But they will be treated as converts and any white supremacists whose careers are dilapidated, okay, or a white supremacist that speaks good about Palestine and bad about Zionism, they will be treated as Islamic authorities, okay? So I understand why he left those two out, because they're not actual converts. But they get treated as converts. They get treated as Muslim authorities. And I'm tired of seeing these folks getting shared on my feed every single day. Like, why do I gotta see every 5 minutes Candace Owens? Candace Owens, of all people in the dunya, a Muslim to share, you're gonna share Candace Owens. You're gonna call yourself a self-respecting Muslim and share something from Candace Owens all in the same breath. Like, how in the world does that work? Y'all are leaving some amazing comments, man. Like, I'm just looking. Y'all are on fire today. Look at, I gotta put these comments on, man. Look at these, look at some of these, y'all. Look at this. Sharing writers. Thou has become like WWE. You know, thou pimping ain't easy. Y'all are all on fire today, family. Owen Benjamin. Why in the world? Like, why? Like, what would possess you to invite Owen Benjamin to come on a Muslim platform to talk about Zionists? Owen Benjamin, the comedian, white supremacist comedian. Like, y'all are tripping, man. Dan Blazarian. Why do I see, like, every week I gotta see something from Dan Blazarian on my feed? Dan Blazarian, of all people. When scholars scholars are actually alive, you can put out actual scholars' work. You're gonna put out sound bites from Dan Blazarian. And I told you a story. I didn't even know what a sneako was until some Muslims started sharing what sneako. And when I found out what sneako was, the first thing out of my mouth, because I didn't know what was going on like that. I was a little bit naive on the social media stuff. I'm like, why would you share something like this? My instant reaction was, why would you, why would you share this guy? Why would you even invite him, something like this, to your platform and then share it? Talking good about, like, are you crazy? Like Andrew Tate didn't come and bite them in the butt. Jake Shields, another white supremacist, they keep sharing. Jordan Peterson, remember how they used to love Jordan Peterson? And then he does what a Zionist do, but they loved him. He was always a Zionist, but they still shared him. And when he showed them that he was a Zionist, all of a sudden he became public enemy number one. And Muhammad Hijab still, after all the Muslims were done with him, he invited him back on his channel again. Like, what is y'all doing, man? Mark Collette. There's too many names to keep going. Too many names. Mark Collette on 5 Pillars and stuff. Mark Collette on whatchamacallit, Daniel Higuchi and stuff. Like, what is y'all doing? This is what y'all doing. And what you guys do has serious consequences. Has very, very serious consequences. I say, especially Black converts, we need to leave these folks alone. They are, about to get themselves replaced. They have zero in terms of fearing Allah when it comes to this stuff. The most dangerous ideology in human recorded history is white supremacy, and they're all in on it. All in. They believe that the numbers, their vast amount of numbers, is what makes them powerful. Is this what the Prophet ﷺ, what he believed? The Prophet ﷺ believed that was the numbers that make the Muslims powerful. ads on my lives now? For real? Are you serious? How? Man, you know me, bro. Like I'm still dusty. I'm still broke. I'm still, I'm still a poor black man working hard for the grand. But alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I got Islam. I got the Quran. I got Sunnah. I got understanding of the Salaf Asad. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That is my currency. And of course, the support from the people. We don't get supported by any YouTubian that elite. We don't get support from them. We don't get support by we're not selling out. It's just as simple as that. So if you're not going to sell out, of course you're going to be broke. Okay, and you will be broke until you sell out. So it is you, the black grassroots. You are the ones who are keeping this channel going. By the will and the help of Allah. Alhamdulillah. We just putting in the work here. That's it. Allah gave me this voice and I'm using it for my purpose. Alhamdulillah. So when we say, Negrodamus strikes again, it is what it is. Some of y'all might think, oh, this brother, he's bragging, he's braggadocious and, whatever. And we like, you calling me braggadocious and stuff, but you know what about me being braggadocious? Well, you're damn right. Okay, you're damn right. We are braggadocious. We deserve to brag. No matter the hell we caught from y'all, people trying to shut down the channel, people trying to get it permanently banned, all kind of stuff. The amount of trolls, like thousands every like few months, like thousands of trolls. I got to delete them. I got so many. The moderators on this channel are working hard, just as hard as I am, trying to block people. That's what it is. So yeah, we're going brag because you were giving us hell. We don't need to be humble. You are the ones who need to humble yourselves. You need to humble yourselves, not us. Okay, we were right to begin with. Why should we be humble? You need to be humble. Anyways, family, like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon, inshallah. I'm gonna get ready to go and help in the kitchen and stuff. Right? Make sure y'all listen to what Bilal Get Me a Coffee. You can also support the channel on Patreon. You can support the channel on PayPal. You can buy me a coffee, of course, right? And tomorrow, I don't think I'm coming on tomorrow. I got to work. I got a long day tomorrow at work, right? But we'll see you sometime next week, inshallah. And free the land, beloved. Free the land. Free the land. Free the land. Wa subhanaka wa hamdik wa shada la ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk wa Salaam Alaikum.